Are you cut out to be the next pope? How do they choose who is given that position? Who gets to choose? You may not know the answer to these questions. In fact, I'm Catholic, and I didn't know the answer to these questions until very recently. There is an important ritual that is utilized to select the new pope. Although you may or may not be Catholic, the process of selecting a pope is something that isn't common knowledge and is actually very interesting. I have been Catholic since I was baptized as a baby, and I really enjoy learning about this religion. Selecting a pope is a very detailed process. The candidate must be Catholic and will then undergo a voting and tallying procedure. Although the pope is a very important role, there's really only one qualification you must meet in order to be eligible. Technically, any Roman Catholic male could be elected as pope. Females are not considered in positions inside the church besides being a sister. So this could be any bishop, priest, deacon, or Catholic layman, although generally a cardinal is elected as pope. According to dictionary.com, a cardinal is a highly ecclesiastic appointed by the pope to the College of Cardinals and ranks above every other ecclesiastic besides the pope. The selection process begins no earlier than 15 days and no later than 20 days after the death of the pope. The process of selecting a pope is a very intricate process. It can last for days, weeks, or even months. The first step in this process is for the College of Cardinals to assemble in the conclave. The conclave is a very secure meeting place where the cardinals are literally locked into a room until they have selected a new pope. The conclave is located in the Sistine Chapel at the Vatican. Once the cardinals are locked into the conclave, the voting will begin. Each cardinal votes by secret ballot. After he casts his vote, he takes it to the altar and states, "I call as my witness the Lord who will be my judge, that my vote is given to the one before God I think should be elected." The cardinal will then place his ballot onto a plate that's on top of a chalice, which is like a wine glass, and then drops the ballot onto the chalice using the plate, and then he bows and is seated. The number of ballots must match up before the tallying can begin. By matching up, the number of ballots must match the number of voting cardinals. So, according to Wintle, the men that tally the votes are called scrutineers. These are men selected from the electors. Sitting in front of the altar, a scrutineer shakes up the chalice in order to mix around the ballots. The ballots are then counted, and again, if the number of ballots don't correspond with the number of voting cardinals, the ballots are then burned and the voting process starts from the beginning. If the numbers do match up, the scrutineers will begin the tallying procedure. And the tallying procedure is very intricate and complicated, in my opinion. According to Robinson, the tallying procedure is a multi-step process. And he states that the first scrutineer will take a ballot and he will note the name that is on the ballot and then pass it to the second scrutineer. The second scrutineer does the same, and then he passes it to the third scrutineer. Now the third scrutineer will read aloud the name on the ballot and pierce the ballot with a needle through the word Eligo at the top of the ballot and slide the ballot onto a string of thread, and each elector will then note the name of the ballot, or note the name that's on the ballot, and once they are all read, all the ballots are read, the scrutineer writes down the official count on a separate sheet of paper. The third scrutineer will then tie the ends of the threads on which the ballots were placed to preserve the vote. The ballots are then placed in a receptacle. After this, all the ballots and notes are burned that concern this voting. If they have successfully elected a new pope, the burning will emit a white smoke above the conclave. But if they have not successfully elected a new pope, the black smoke will arise from the conclave, and they will begin the voting and tallying processes again. which is where you can get into the process taking days and months. So hopefully they get it in the first couple tries. Electing a pope is a very intricate process that requires the cardinals to meet in conclave, and then the cardinals perform a time-consuming voting and tallying process like we've talked about. The scrutineers then do the tallying process and then tally the votes, and the selection is then decided. If a new pope has been selected, the white smoke will appear. So as you can see, selecting a pope is a very intricate process, and there are many steps and many people involved. But in the end, after all that hard work, it's really worth it.